Welcome back to another episode of Shit I'm 30 with me, your host, Carla Wilmaris. And today, I'm in the building with our friend, Passport Cutty.
Woo woo.
We are all the way in New York. I came out here and I asked her, I said, will you do an episode with me? Because there's some things you're talking about that I really, really want to talk about. And you didn't know you were going to be in town.
No,
and then she said, okay, let's do it. And I was super, super excited. I hit up Ty. I'm like, I need the studio. I need it. But before we start the show with you, I wanted to do our shit you should know. Donald Trump brings so much content for us, but I wanted to see who is the pettiest person. I think at this point, it's him. Mm-mm. And I was reading up on the fact that the House Speaker, Pelosi, I think her name is, she wanted to postpone the State of the Union.
Yeah.
And she's like, while the shutdown's going on, like, let's postpone it. You don't need to address it yet. And he waited until a couple hours before she was supposed to leave to Afghanistan and canceled her trip and said, you can't take military aircraft over to Afghanistan. You can fly commercial. But his email was the funniest part because he stayed quiet after she kind of like told him not to do the stuff. And he's so... It's a joke.
I didn't see it, so
it's a joke. It says, due to the shutdown, I am sorry to inform you that your trip to Brussels, Egypt, and Afghanistan have been postponed. We will reschedule the 7-day excursion when the shutdown is over. In light of the 800,000 great American workers not receiving pay, I am sure you would agree that postponing this public relations event is totally appropriate. This is what Trump wrote. And he said, I also feel that during this period, it would be better if you were in Washington negotiating with me and joining the strong border security movement to end the shutdown. Obviously, if you would like to make your journey by flying commercial, that would be certainly your prerogative.
Oh my God.
So she's really upset because he broke kind of code. Now, if he said, once he releases that, now they know that she's coming commercial. So she was planning on coming commercial if something happened, but there's not that many flights that come in. So now it's just...
they know exactly.
Yeah, like they can see when she's coming, so it's a risk for them to go. And he was just being petty because he can't address the nation. Nobody wants to hear you. You go on Twitter and talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then I was telling Mandy about this at the house and what I wanted to talk about. She's like, "Oh my God, did he?" And then she goes, "What about the McDonald's and the fast food he did for the Clemson athletes?
Them cold ass fries."
I've never had a Big Mac. Have you?
Yeah.
I've never had one. I don't like meat. No.
Oh, you don't eat meat?
No, I do, but I've never had the meat portion of McDonald's. I've had like chicken nuggets, and I remember back in the day, I think they had a fish sandwich.
Yeah.
Or like the chicken.
They still have a fish sandwich.
Yeah, so I haven't had McDonald's in years. My daughter's 13. I've never taken her to McDonald's.
Oh my God.
But we
really?
do never.
Oh my God. Well, what about any of the other fast food ones?
So we'll do Wendy's. We'll do Chick-fil-A, of course. I don't do Taco Bell either. I'm not a huge fan of it. But Wendy's.
Burger King?
For breakfast.
Oh.
The croissants.
Okay.
Those are real good. But that's
I never had
it.
breakfast from anywhere other than McDonald's, actually.
Really?
Like none of the fast food places.
When I was younger, I remember the hash browns from McDonald's.
Yeah, they still have those.
But I don't remember any. What else did they have for breakfast?
Hotcakes and sausage. They used to have a steak, egg, and cheese on a bagel that was dope. And
wait, they had these little plates.
Yes.
Like these Yes, I remember them when I was little. Yes, I do. But as an adult, McDonald's just doesn't do it for me.
McDonald's is disgusting.
Yeah, but I want to give Trump, he's just the pettiest man alive.
He is.
And he's going to give us content for years to come. Like,
well, I hope not. I hope it's over. I hope,
even if it's over now in 2020, you know how much our kids will have, well, my kids, because you don't have any kids, right? My daughter's going to have so much to talk about, like, during this era. The textbooks are going to be lit for history.
Yeah.
They're going to be a hot mess.
Oh my God, I forgot about textbooks.
Right? She comes to me and tells me, now they're all digital. She does everything on the computer. And she's only 13. But they read about certain things, and I'm like, well, but this white president, they're going to talk about it all to like hundreds of years to come. But anyway.
I need to open up a textbook one of these days and see what they've been talking about.
I don't even know what this. I don't ask her. Did you study?
That's funny. I haven't opened up a textbook for a long time.
You know what? Now I feel like a real bad parent. I don't know what the fuck she's learning. I know she's in geometry. I don't know what she's learning. Yeah. That's bad. That's really, really bad parenting. Well, anyway, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So the reason why I have told Mandy a while ago, I'm like, I want her to come on and stuff like that. But there's two things about you that I really want to touch on. So one is I have my best friend in Orlando who loves you, Dexty, and she ordered your book. And she said, I'm ordering this because I need these niggas to pay. She was in a relationship and then it was over. And she said, I'm not going to just love just to love.
Yeah.
I'm going to get something out of it. So the name of your book is The M in Man is for Money.
Yes.
First of all, give me a little bit background on you, because I know that people in Florida, like at least my followers, don't know much about you when I posted it.
So online, I go by Passport Cutty. I wrote a book called The M in Man is for Money online, known for my uncensored, unfiltered commentary about life and relationships, also known for traveling. And the book came about because during my time, like my peak on Twitter, it was always talking about guys, and I had sugar daddies at one point, and even if it wasn't a sugar daddy situation, I just had guys that because I had sugar daddies, I was like, oh, they do pay. Okay, so you guys are going to start to pay as well. And then, so I used to chronicle, it on Twitter.
You were just talking about what you had going on.
Yeah. I mean, there were always topics on the internet as far as, who pays for a date, who $200 dates, and what girls should be doing and what guys should be doing. So I always had my commentary, and it was like a firm guy should be paying,
always.
In the book I talk about the type of relationship that I'm referring to as far as this is concerned. It's really like, and this is not to be stereotypical, but in general, when a guy approaches you about courting you or something, it's usually sexual. Right. Like they're always making sex. Like, it's not long before you know exactly what he wants.
Yeah, it's like, I want to take you to dinner, but most of the time that we're going to hang out after. Do we hang out at your house or my house?
Yeah. Or they don't even, sometimes there's no dinner involved. It's like straight to it. Like, oh, when I'm seeing you, I want to come over. Or they'll say something sexual, like that'll make you feel a little uncomfortable. Like, damn, can you feed me first? Damn, like. And so they're constantly saying all this stuff that lets us know exactly what their motive and their intention is. Right. And sometimes we don't get what we want out of it. I mean, I'll take money.
Me too.
Because it's like, I had this quote that I used to talk about that I used to tweet all the time. And it said something along the lines of, if you pursue me, you owe me. Okay. Like, if you're constantly down my back, oh, give me a chance, give me a chance, give me a shot, whatever. But, like, what am I getting out of this? Because the truth is, half of the time that we have sex with these guys, it's not even good. I've been very blessed to have great sex.
Okay. Even from the sugar daddies?
No, but I didn't care.
Oh, okay. So that was different.
Yeah, like that's its own. I'm talking about the guys that are more on your level. Okay. Yeah, like that are more your peers and stuff. It's like, think about like, for every 10 guys that you've met, how many of them really have great sex? Now, like I said, for me, I weed them out. Like how
do you know if he's like got the right game?
I'm very, very open to dick pics. Like super open to it.
Send them.
People be like, oh no, I hate them. I hate them.
But they have angles with it too, so you don't really know what it really looks like.
No, but even the shape, and you can tell, like when you see another dick, you know the angling, and that's the same thing like with girls. Like when girls send certain nudes and stuff like
that. To the side, I like mine to the side and make my waist look small. Yeah, like, you can't tell I'm squared.
We know how to angle, and we know how to check for angles, and the same thing with them. So, and then, they're so retarded. So they put it next to an object, or just there's other things about it that will turn you off.
Like if it's ashy or something?
Yeah, like if it's ashy. I tell this story so many times. This story is all over the internet. But this guy sent me a picture with one sock off.
Wait, what? Off his foot?
Yes.
And what was the...
but it was in the picture.
Okay, now.
So he's taking a picture of himself, right? Of his penis. And so the penis and both feet are in the picture. But one sock is off in the picture, though. It's in the picture. So one sock is on, one sock is off, and the other sock is there. So now I couldn't even remember what the dick looked like, because all I'm thinking about, all I remember is the sock being off, and I just don't. So, you canceled yourself with that, right? But then I've gotten some amazing ones.
So what's a good one?
I always have this joke that I talk about online. I say that it's like Toad from Mario Kart. Like,
okay,
it's chubby. It got a round head. It's like, you know, pretty. It's like cute. You know, like,
I never thought of a penis being cute.
Yeah, well, not that I actually find them attractive, but it's
the best ones out of all of them.
Yeah. If we had to categorize them, thick with a mushroom head is probably the best.
How long?
I don't like them that long.
Me neither.
No.
Like, don't be out here in my belly button and like moving things around.
Yeah.
I don't
So
need
like
all
that's
that.
why I always say toad, because toad is actually small. Like,
Right.
Not that big now. I don't really want him that small either. But just like medium.
What's your most popular advice to a girl? Like, for I don't know if it's either from the book or you talk about it. So find a man that will pay, because that's the thing that women talk about a lot, and I'm sure you get a lot of messages like, oh, well, they won't pay my bills, or they won't take my thing, or they're so fucking cheap. So what is your advice to find one that will do it, or make the one that they already have go ahead and pay?
Okay, so there's different scenarios, so I will just throw some out of the top of my head. The first one is girls try to get into situations and not look like a gold digger, so they wind up paying, and they find themselves in a situation where they're always paying. So one of them is to definitely stop always trying to prove yourself to them,
Right.
because you wind up shooting yourself in the foot. Secondly is sometimes their independence is like, and that's like because I went on tour as soon as the book came out, because my book came out almost 2 years ago, but I'm actually rewriting it right now, so I'm about to go back on tour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm not rewriting it. I'm extending it.
Okay.
To like add more chapters and stuff. Because once I went on the tour, then like all of this other stuff started coming out. Everybody's like, and what about this? And what about that? And so I'm like, you know what?
Let
I
me
didn't
go
talk
ahead
about
and
that.
add
So let me add. So
it's like the deluxe
Yeah,
albums with extra songs.
Exactly.
Okay.
The number one difficulty that women had was being independent. They don't know how to receive. They don't know how to ask. They're constantly saying things like, well, if he wanted to, I wouldn't have to ask. He would just do it. And I'm like,
Men are not that smart.
but not only that, like, some men are not that smart. Some may have had an ex who was super independent. Was that person who paid? Was the person who didn't, expect anything or require anything
So
from
think
him?
everybody's like
or
that.
he may have had a mother who was super independent, a father who wasn't around. He may not have had any example of what a guy is supposed to do or not do.
True.
Like, guys, a lot of the time they go from their mom's house to a girlfriend. They never paid bills. They don't know. Their mom is paying their bills. Their mom is like, and moms coddle their sons
It's
so
disgusting.
crazy.
It's so disgusting.
Yeah, that they're not saying like, oh, you got to pay the rent, or you're older now, I need some of your check, whatever. They barely want their sons to move out with a woman,
Right.
Especially if they're single, like especially if they're single.
That. Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
I think not. Thank God, but my boyfriend's mother passed away before I met him, and he's very independent. But I cannot imagine seeing my little brother, me dating a man with a single mom or an overprotective. Or I feel like my mom is like, their obsession is kind of gross. So I just be like, this. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
Yeah.
So just speak up, basically.
Yeah.
And tell him what you want.
Well, definitely. Sometimes people think that it's their pride doesn't allow them to say certain things to the guy that they're with, and I'm like, what he gonna do, break up with you? No, he's not gonna break up with you because you said, hey, can you pay for this? Hey, can you buy me this? Hey, the cable bill is due. Hey,
I mean, you're here watching TV with me anyway.
Exactly. He's not gonna do that. That's a conversation that needs to be had.
So do you have the conversation, or do you just say, I want you to pay for this?
Well, it depends on who it is and how. It depends on who it is and what your situation is. Like, if you meet him 10 days ago, you're not going to be like, oh, can you pay the cable?
Right.
But if you guys are already in a relationship and you've been together for 8 months and he's always over and you're like, these bills. In the book I talk about towards the end of the book, which I'm going to try to even it out a little bit more with the new one, relationships are not free. Right. Like, if you keep on coming over to my house, that's 2 people now that I gotta feed. That's groceries. That's the lights on for longer. Line. That's, that's more water when you're taking a shower. This, that, whatever.
That food adds up.
Exactly.
And you're taking my baby snacks. The granola bars are going low.
Exactly. And I'm like, damn, like, the least you could do is buy the groceries.
Right.
You know, and people are afraid to have those conversations with guys. And I'm like, but why? What is he gonna do?
Nothing. And I do know of women that go and meet guys, and they're like, right away, they're like, you know, I don't need nothing from you. Yeah. All I want is sex, or I make my own money. That's cool. And to me, I'm like, make your own money. But my father always told me, you don't lay on your back unless a man's paying a couple bills. When I tell that, people be like, your dad said that? And I'm like, yeah, because my dad was a hoe, and he had side bitches, but he said that whenever he left, he made sure a bill was paid. Yeah. You know, so he's like, you don't lay down nowhere unless he's going to pay something. And then my mom used to get pissed when he would say that. Yeah. But to this day, I'm like, you know, it's true, because I'm giving you something. I'm giving you like that home feeling. I'm giving you the home cooked meals, or I'm just making you feel some type of way. Yeah. And it's like, you're sitting here laying in my bed.
Now, there's dating and then there's relationships, you know, so there's two different categories. And for the dating, I always say that the issue is that men come to you and they tell you immediately, I'm not looking for anything serious. I'm just, you know, I'm just trying to chill. I just want to have fun. I hate that. You know, I'm not looking for anything. I just got out of a relationship, or, you know, I'm trying to focus right now, blah, blah, blah. And you know what that means. That means that they want sex and no commitment. Okay? So
that's exactly what it means.
You know, so I'm like, all right, cool. So that means that I'm not going to have sex with him if he doesn't take me out. I'm not going to have sex with him if he doesn't, you know, at least court me. Like, you don't have to put money in my hand, but you have to show some sort of effort. Right. Because there's no reason why I should just, you're telling me from the gate, I don't really want to do anything for you or give you anything, you know? And then I'm just like, okay, and open my legs, you know? No. I tell people all the time, and I say this phrase, throw them back in the water. Like, I'm like, throw that one back in the water.
There's another fish.
Yeah.
Go back fishing.
And then, like, another thing is that guys are always trying to manipulate women into believing, it's like reverse psychology. Right. Oh, so what are you, a prostitute? Oh, so what are you, you're for sale? And, you know, all of these things that I'm like, all you're trying to do is deflect from you having to put out any energy.
Right.
Because I don't understand. What is the big deal? Like, yesterday I made a post. I said, you know, I don't know how anybody else feels. You know, maybe there's some people who just want to have sex. Like some women who just like sex and call it a day. But guys will say that our sex drive is lowered because, for whatever reason, they'll be like, oh, you don't want to have sex as much as you used to. You don't want to do this or you don't want to do this, or you don't want to do that. You're not as fun as you used to be sexually and all of that. And I'm like, I've been asking you to take out the garbage for the last 4 days.
You used to take it out when you came in. Right. You saw it halfway full and you were like, all right, let me just go take it out.
Yeah. You know, and then it's like, and so somebody was in the comments like, something, you're not my wife. And I'm like, damn, I gotta be your wife for you to take out the garbage? Like, yeah, whoa.
Definitely not. Or do a couple of things.
Sorry, I got over the flu last week.
Oh my God. No, or do just the little things that they did in the beginning. Take me out to eat every once in a while. Or just, you used to love to send these flowers to the job. Now that you're getting it on the regular, you don't send it. So now I don't want to have sex with you as much because I don't feel, that gives you a feeling. When you get something from a guy, it doesn't have to be expensive, like you said, or it doesn't have to be money in the bank account. But these little actions make you feel like warm inside. And you're like, oh, your legs are separating when they do stuff like that, like automatically.
It could be a gift. It could be an act of service. It could be, you know, quality time. It could, like, there's different love languages, but do something. Except just expect that we're just supposed to be there on a platter for you all the damn time, you know?
Yeah, no.
So, with the money situation, I don't make it like a dollar amount, like, oh, every guy has to spend at least $1,000 on me before I open my legs or anything like that. No, but you know people's intentions,
right?
You know what I mean?
And they make it very clear.
Yeah, you know when, and it's just so funny because girls are so, it's like they just don't have that confidence that if they don't stand their ground, that this person is gonna turn it around, like turn up the volume. They get nervous that if they don't do, like if they don't oblige to what the guy wants, then he's gonna be on to the next. And I'm like,
well, then go.
Right.
And usually they don't. They do whatever you ask them for.
Exactly. But you have to hold out on having sex with them if you want to make any demands.
Right.
Because once they get it, why would they change?
They don't have to.
Yeah.
Or if you keep up with it. Yeah. Well, you're definitely someone that I like to go see because I haven't been single. I've been in a relationship since I was 17 years old. So
Same person?
No, hell no.
Oh.
I was with my daughter's dad.
Me too.
I was married and then divorced and then had 2 boyfriends and then mine now I'll be 6 years this year.
Okay, nice.
So it's been forever. I've never really dated.
Right.
But so when I look at stuff that you say and I like to watch your Twitter and I see the responses, I'm like, man, dating out here is hard.
Yeah. I haven't been dating in a long time as well. I've been with somebody for a long time.
How long?
8 years, but
whoa,
we were cheating on each other. So technically,
was it open or I was just cheating?
No, we were cheating. We were lying to each other for a long time. So it's like I tell people all the time that I haven't dated in a while. Like I've been with guys throughout those 8 years,
right?
Being single and dating how you know like it's supposed to go, I haven't done that in a long time. So it's funny because if by the time I cheated, you know, like that person probably wanted me, like really liked me, so they're trying to court or whatever. It's not like me being single and trying to find a guy. It's like every time you have a boyfriend, every single time you have a boyfriend or you have a girlfriend, there's so many options. And then when you're single, there's no options.
Whenever I go with my boyfriend, because we break up at least once a year. Yeah. Maybe once every 6 months if it's one of them rough years. So I'm like, my DMs are flooded. Niggas is texting like they want this, they want that. And then when I'm like, I'm done with you. Bye. I'm going to be single.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where'd all these boys go? Hello, boys. I'm here. They gone. I said, wait a minute. No more dinner? You don't want to go to the movies? Like, what happened? So all these things he wanted to do for me. But I think they do that when they know you're in a relationship too.
Yes.
Where do they go? I think they know.
Yeah.
And they leave.
They're like, hold on, I didn't want anything full time now.
the part time sounded a lot better than the full time.
Exactly. That's what's going on.
No, and it's true because whenever I think it's different for us and we give a different vibe.
Yeah.
When we find a dude like on the side. Yep. Because you know you have somebody to go back to.
Right, exactly.
So it's like,
you're chill. Like, you're just like, you're not that pressed. You're like, oh, if this doesn't work out, I still have my boyfriend. And
that's how we should. Oh, that's how we should act when we are single.
Yeah.
And I see some like women that are desperate to find someone, and then they meet him and they're like, oh, I think he's the one.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
like, no, keep searching. Keep searching. Right. I always say that people always find the one that they like and then they stop dating. And I'm like, that's where you go wrong.
Right. You're just dating. Yeah. You haven't said that you guys are exclusive yet.
Because guys don't do that though.
No. And then when they meet them online,
they keep dating.
This online part, I don't know how people do it. Because I've never dated online.
Well, I've like gotten sugar daddies from offline and stuff, but
does it work?
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, I'm going to touch on the sugar daddy part because then I want to ask you what you're going to do, or how you've done that. But another reason why, on top of you being like the dating guru online and talking about what we should or shouldn't do or what you like society has put on us, you opened up big time. So you did tell me that you built your brand on transparency. Yeah. And you really have. Like, you're live on Instagram every morning.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't been every morning this year, but we
just started. We just started the year.
Yeah.
But I remember going to work, and it's like, I know Cutty's gonna be on there, so it's like, might be brushing my teeth. I'm like, let me log in and see what she's talking about today.
Yeah.
So you have like your cult like following. I think you have your
Cutty cult.
Yeah. They really are like a cult.
Yeah.
So they watch you on there, and you opened up, and I just remember opening up your live. I hadn't even seen the post, and you said that you were basically restarting it. How old are you? You're what?
32.
32. I'll be 32 this year. We're getting old. But no, we're just aging like wine, honey, because we look good. So you said that you were restarting, and I decided to read the post and listen to your story because it happened to me, and I talk about it here, how after my father passed away, I scaled back. I left the job. I had no money for a year, and I hustled to get my degree, to get a better job, even with my daughter, and it took a lot out of me. Like, I couldn't go out. I couldn't go on vacations as much. There's so many things I couldn't do for all this time to rebuild myself back up. And so I guess you're falling on a time where you're going to scale back and say, hold on, I'm about to have a comeback, but I got to do this first. And that's really hard to do with all your followers and people seeing your highlight reel the whole time. So tell me what's going on with that.
Okay, so I never really had money troubles for like ever, because I've always had so many resources, whether it was a family, a guy. I'm the only child. It's my grandmother's favorite, I had guys, I had a job, I had hustles, I had, I had a passport, Cutty. Like, I never had money troubles. But it didn't matter how much money that I made. I kept on raising my expenses. Every time I was like, oh, I'm making this couple $1,000, X amount of dollars every month. Oh, I can get a better apartment. I can get a better car. I can go here. I can do this. I can buy these Chanel bags. I can buy these sneakers. I can, do whatever I want. And on top of that, I have help. So my grandmother passed last year, and I didn't really realize how much money was available to me while she was alive, because the money didn't matter. It was there,
right?
And then my boyfriend at the time, he had money, and he was giving me a couple $1,000s a month. I always was just doing so much stuff to bring in money that I didn't realize just how high my expenses were. So my grandmother passed, and my dude and I broke up. And when I looked up, my expenses were like $10,000 a month.
Wait a minute. Ma'am. And you have no children?
No.
Just you?
Yeah. So
wow.
My rent was $3,500. My car was $11,000. My credit cards were out of this world. Student loans, this, that, whatever.
You got to eat. You got to all this. And you're in New York, period. So everything's expensive.
Yeah. I was like, oh, shit. Now, at the time, I had money saved. Mm-hmm. So I'm still not feeling it, like, oh my God, $8,000, $10,000 a month. This is so crazy, because I still had about, $70,000, $80,000 saved or whatever. So, and then time has started going on, and then now this 80 is 50, and this 50 is 20, and this 20 is 5, and this 5 is 0.
You start feeling like you can't breathe. Because your chest gets tight, and you're like, oh my God.
So this happened over it's going on 2 years now. So once I got to 0, then I had to start tapping into my credit to keep me afloat. So then now my credit is going from $20,000 in debt to $40,000 in debt to $60,000 in debt to, $100,000. So now I'm $100,000 in debt, right?
Oh my goodness. And
I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like, I'm trying to catch up and figure out how to make $10,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $10,000 a month. And I'm doing it, but then like, I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul, this, that, whatever. I'm still not scaling back on other things. Everything's, and the gift and the curse was that I could pay my rent on my credit card. So
wow.
I was able to now put, this $3,500 a month on my credit card, but now it's putting me more and more and more debt. Like, I'm just getting to this point where it's like, whoa, like you said, it's suffocating. I'm like, there's so much pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, hell no. And it was so uncomfortable. Like,
why do you feel like because you said it's going on 2 years now. Why did you feel during this time that you felt like you needed to keep going?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I always felt that I could catch up.
Okay.
I always felt that I could catch up and then just figure out how to make more money, how to make more money, how to make more money, instead of how to cut down. It was never, oh, let me figure out how to cut my expenses. It was always how to make more money. Now, I was making the more money.
But you were spending it.
It's not so much that I was spending it. It's more that, well, I was spending it, but I mean, it was mostly going on bills and everything like that. Oh, shit. Sorry. My headphones came out. Sorry, guys. So it's not that I wasn't making the money, and I was spending it, but it was more about me not ever getting a chance to breathe from working.
Because at this point, you're choked.
Yo, you're working underwater so much. I'm working 7 days.
Oh my.
Like, I'm not able to take a break. Like, thank the Lord, my book. I wrote my book 2 years ago, so that was bringing in royalty every month, and that was a couple of $1,000s. I was working, and there was other ways that I made money, but it was like every single freaking day, it was like, okay, how can I make more money? How can I make more money? How can I make more money? And I never got a chance to, breathe. So it was so funny because like maybe so the lease
agreement.
Yeah, the lease renewal.
Okay.
Came about 3 months ago and said, like, are you going to renew? And that was the turning point right there. It was like, let it go or keep on trying to, you know, keep up with the Joneses and you know,
drown. You're going to be drowning.
And stress yourself out. I always post in my apartment. Like, I love
your apartment is beautiful.
Oh my God, I loved it to death. I loved it so much, and I did so much to, you know, line things up in a way that for me to get it, you know, 4 years ago. So I was like really proud of myself and everything, and I loved it, and it made me feel so
accomplished.
Yeah, and it was very peaceful, you know. So I didn't want to give it up, but I also was like, I need a break. You know, I'm like trying to make $10,000 a month. This shit is stressing me out. And hold on, sorry. So I'm trying to. So I just let it sit there on the table for a little while, like and then it was like, and then it said like, oh well, if you want to do a month to month, you could pay $600 more. And
like 35 an hour, already enough.
Right. And I was like,
And you've been there 4 years?
Yeah.
Well,
so I was like,
you're very grateful that I've been here this long.
Right. So I was like, damn. And then, so I let it sit there because I was like, oh shit. Like, it made me so anxious because I was like, my pride, my image, everything was like, no. They're going to, and not so much, it wasn't so much the people on the internet because, I wasn't really concerned about that. It was more like the people in my real life that I always felt like I don't like to use the word like jealous. Mm-hmm. I don't like putting that on somebody else. Like, oh, she's jealous of me. I don't like stuff like that.
But they do envy what you have, or they've said certain things to make it seem that way.
Right. And it's really, like I said, I didn't come to those conclusions by myself. It really is what they've said. You know what I mean? Like, the things that people have said, like, and you feel in your circle that you're just like, wow, that was shady. You know, like, oh, that wasn't, what did she mean by that? Like, why was she saying that? You know? So there were, and even family members just like, I knew that, you know, like I said, I was my grandmother's favorite. I didn't want to have to give up the apartment and then and my family be like, as soon as she died, you know, like she can't handle it anymore or whatever. And it wasn't so much the rent that was killing me. It was like the credit card debt. You know, the credit card debt was killing me. And I never let my credit go bad. So I literally was busting my ass to keep it in good standing because I didn't want any late payments. Right. I didn't want it to go, I didn't want any derogatory, no delinquent, nothing. And so that's what was stressing me out, trying to keep the credit card payments up and all the other recurring bills and stuff. So because the credit card debt isn't going anywhere, the least that I could do is take a break from the recurring bills, which was the $3,500 in, and I was in Jersey, so that toll every single day was $15. And then
wow.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, you always came from Jersey?
Yeah, so the toll was $15 every time.
And the gas.
All right, the gas, the tolls, the this, the that, whatever.
Parking.
Yeah, and then because when I used to drive to work, it was like $27 a day. My expenses was just crazy, you know.
That's insane.
So I was like, all right. So I let it sit there for a little while, and then I was like, and then I said, God, help me, overcome, because usually my prayers to God was like, God, let me make more money. Let me make more money. Let me make more money. Give me some more money. Give me some more money. And he would give it to me. You know, he would find the way to give.
You're a hustler.
Yeah.
So a door, you opened up doors.
Yeah. But then this time I didn't ask for that. I was like, help me get over, give me some clarity. Get me out of this, you know? And I feel like what he did for me was help me get over my pride. Because that was the
pride
first
is a motherfucker.
The first step was the pride. Because I was sitting up there like, oh my God.
What did you realize when you got over it? It doesn't matter, because my pride has never been. I've had pride, but I've always been a person who doesn't give a damn about what anybody thinks. It don't matter who they are. But I can see how it can bother someone. Sometimes I'm like, damn, they're going to think I didn't make it. Like right now when I quit my job, they're like, I'm an accountant, you have a career, you have everything, you don't want to do it anymore? What are you thinking? And to me, at first, I was like, they're going to think you're ungrateful. Yeah. You know, you got all this, you have a great job. But to me, I was suffocating in my job and I wasn't happy. And I was thinking, what are they going to think when I leave this? Like who does that? So how did you know, like, to stop caring about what people thought, essentially?
For me to stop caring what people thought, I really thought about the type of people who were going to criticize me were never going to be the ones to support me anyway. So
at all. And they usually don't even have to support you anyway.
Yeah.
They just talk, and what they have is their mouth running it the whole time.
So especially for my following, my fan base, it was like, anybody who is on there bashing you, changing your lifestyle to get a hold of yourself financially, was never going to purchase a ticket to come to any event. Right. They were never going to buy the book. They never bought the book. They're not your fan. They're not your follower. Right. You know, like they're just somebody that's on there to crucify you. So why do you care about those people? And it's so funny because I had to start like talking to myself and saying to myself, you're thinking about all the people who would say that, and it's the minority. Right. Like it's only a few people who would say that versus all the other people who would support you and wouldn't care. And also, you know, and it does come from a lot of, you know, there's like this anxiety that people, what are people going to say? And I've also been that person, I'm not going to lie.
No, yeah, and then we're in our age as well, because the name of my show is Shit, I'm 30. So now you're 30, and you're supposed to have your shit together.
Yes, oh my God.
Cutty, you're 32, right. You're supposed to have the man, you're supposed to have the apartment as nice as it is, you're supposed to have the car, and now you're like, wait a minute, in my 30s, I'm going to scale back. But I don't think people understand that it's okay. Yeah. We took our time, you lived, and now I'm like, you're not going to be gone forever. You know, you can come right back to this.
Yeah, I said to myself, like, I had to have all these conversations with myself and say to myself, like, why you just can't admit to yourself that you jumped out the window and left home faster than you were supposed to? Right. Like, I left at 21 with no plan. I left because I wanted to have my own privacy so I could have as many guys in my house as I want. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm home. I'm living at home with my grandmother. And it's like, I can't keep on bringing guys over and, you know, all of that stuff. And then I don't want guys to think I'm a little girl. I need my own place, you know? So.
And if you see that, you left for the looks of it. So they don't think it is. Exactly. Then you're from 21 till now 32, you were doing the same thing without even noticing.
Yeah. So then I didn't have a plan then. And then I didn't have a plan for that whole entire time. So it's like, now that I'm actually getting a plan, I'm like, oh, this was ass backwards, you know? So now I'm like, all right. So I decided to renew the lease. I mean, to get rid of the lease. But I still hadn't, you know, told anybody. I didn't even tell my mom. I was like, she's one of the people that I felt like
would judge.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to tell her. And I told her probably like 10 days before I had to go, or like 15 days before I had to go. I don't know. And she was like, oh, okay, you know. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going to leave. And she's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to go back home.
Now, so you went home with mom?
No.
Okay.
Home was my grandma's house.
Okay.
So.
And who's there now because your grandma passed away?
My aunt.
Okay.
So I grew up with my aunt, my grandmother, and me my whole entire life in a 3-bedroom apartment. And I left at 21, and my grandmother passed away. So it was only my aunt, and there's 2 more rooms left. And I was like, now this is embarrassing. My aunt is 50. My aunt is 52. No man, no kids, no nothing.
Perfect situation, actually.
Like, she works at night. She sleeps during the day. Like, she...
Even better.
Right. She does not bother anybody. She doesn't talk to anybody. She doesn't give a damn. She says to me, she was like, come back. You don't got to pay nothing. I was like, huh?
You asked for it. You asked God for it. And he's happy to give it to you.
Right. And she was like... My aunt she has such few words. She's like, okay. Like, she doesn't speak. Like, she doesn't even talk that much, you know? Like, she stays in her room, like, the whole entire time and reads books. So I'm just like, but then I'm still embarrassed. Because it's like, oh, my God, you're going back home. I mean, and that's not even really like, that's home for me. Right. But it's not like, and then, so I did something that I'm very, that I'm ashamed of. When I put that post, after I wrote this whole long post about, you know, going back home and just being very uncomfortable with my finances, this, that, I went and under it, I was like, and no, I'm not couch surfing. And then it was up there for like 15 minutes. And then I went and deleted it. And I was like, and what the fuck if you were?
Right.
Like, so fucking what? Because
at the same time you're shaming people that are couch surfing. They need to do it for a while.
Yes, and I thought that to myself. I was like, look, you did so good, and then you still let your ego like be like, but I'm not like that, you know?
Right.
And I was like, no. And then I deleted it. And I said to myself, like, there's some people that need to go back home.
Right.
Like,
and some people don't have a home.
Yeah.
That want to do what you're doing and don't have that aunt to go back to. Don't have that family member. So they might have to couch surf for a little while. And that's just fine. Because, I mean, shit, I wouldn't go home. I remember after my dad passed away, I told my mother, I swear to God, I'll sell ass.
Right.
I'll sell this pussy before I go back home and make some money.
Right.
But if I had to and it was the last thing, I would go.
Yeah. And
I have a home to go to. But some people can't even say that.
Yeah, I know. And I thought about that. Like, I thought about it and I felt so bad for doing it. It was up for like 15 minutes. I was like, pray to God that a lot of people didn't see this.
No screenshots, please. No screenshots.
Right. Because you know what? I felt bad because in general, it really is about letting people know that you got to do what's best for you no matter what.
Right.
You know, like you have to.
And no matter how old you are, you can always restart.
Exactly. And it's crazy because I left. Oh, and on top of that, another major part of this whole transition was me letting go of my stuff.
Girl, listen, when I saw all your stuff being posted, which gave me an idea, I had a bunch of clothes at home that I was taking a Goodwill, and I had shit with tags on, and I was like, why don't I post this?
Yeah.
Let me post this and put it on Poshmark. So I got rid of some stuff that I usually just send bags to Goodwill.
Me too.
Like, me too. Not even worrying about it. And I'm like, I'm sitting on money, and all this time I'm just so comfortable, not thinking that I'm just getting rid of money.
No, seriously, I was excessive, like disgusting.
It makes you think back, like, why the hell was I spending this much money?
Right. So I was like, I knew that I just had too much stuff, period. So I was like, I challenged myself to let it go.
Do you think you were hiding something or using the stuff?
Oh, yeah.
To hide something?
Mm-hmm. Like, just emotional. It was just like making me feel better, like just hoarding, emotionally hoarding designer shit, or not even designer. Some of the stuff is friggin' Express, Zara, Guess, Gap, whatever. But just always buying something to make me feel better, And then, and it could have been a grieving thing because, like I said, me and my grandmother were like the closest in the whole wide world. Right. And as soon as she passed, it was like I was on grind mode. My book was coming out in a week. Hold on. Sorry.
Never.
So, my book was coming out in a week, and from then until now, I never really got a chance to grieve because it was like after the book came out, then the tour, and then after the tour, I had a podcast and I did a live show, and then after that, I was like getting super broke, and it was so funny because I said to myself the other day, I've only been broke for like 6 months, and I can't believe people live like this their whole life. Like, without actually doing something to change this situation, which is, like I said, for 2 years, it was like an uncomfortable situation. But the first year, I did have money. I had the money saved. I was like going through the savings. And then it wasn't until like this last year, then the savings was depleted. And then I started using my credit. And then it was like, it finally, at the nick of time, where I like tapped out on my credit, okay, the lease ended and I could leave, and then I could figure out how to pay down debt and not have to pay these recurring bills. So like 10 days before I left, I was like, as I'm packing and stuff, I'm like, I'm just gonna post, and it was crazy because most of it was stuff that I hadn't even worn. I'm talking designer stuff that was $1,000 and I'm selling it for like $350.
Oh my God, that hurts your heart.
Yeah, but it was just like, it's more than just about the money aspect. It was like, let it go. You haven't worn it in over a year, 2 years since you got it. It's brand new. You haven't gone anywhere. You know,
it probably don't even fit. I have stuff that don't even fit me anymore. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna lose some weight.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So, and then even some of the stuff that wasn't designer, it was like I said, it was Zara and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, we'll post it for $30. Every single thing that I posted that was Zara or whatever that was $30 or $40 sold, and $30 or $40 adds the fuck up. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wound up leaving and I made about $25,000.
Wow.
So then I was able to use that money towards paying down some of my bills. And then now it's so crazy because now that January 1st hit and I'm out of the apartment, I'm like, oh my God, I can take a nap.
You don't even remember what it felt like to sleep peacefully, probably.
I haven't taken a nap. I haven't done any of that. And now I feel so much better. And then the craziest thing happened. Basically, somebody gave me the money to pay down my debt.
Nice.
Like out of the blue.
Get out.
Swear.
Just here you go.
Yeah. Like I was telling her my story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, this is crazy. I can't, I can't take this. You know, I'm rearranging
Someone you knew?
everything. Yeah.
Okay.
A family member. She was like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm really proud of you. And, and she wound up giving me the money to pay down the debt, but I am going to give it back because I'm just not like that. Like, if it was a guy, I would keep it. Swear to God. But I don't know. It's just something about me, and I feel like I'm going to make it. So, and I know that this year I'm able to put all my energy, like into my stuff and make the money back. So I'm just going to give her back the money. But I did put and when she saw that I was being very responsible and taking that $25,000 and putting it on the bills or whatever, she was like, here, I don't even want you to have to stress out and try to figure out how to continue to pay the
interest and all that. Yeah. Because that builds up.
Yeah, on the credit card debt. So.
That's amazing.
But. You ever saw that meme with the little girl who got the teddy bear in front of her and
doesn't want to give it up because there's something bigger behind her or something bigger behind the other person's arm? Yeah.
So that's literally how I felt this time, because I kind of felt like I was able to prove that I was willing to let it all go and use the money that, I got from selling my stuff and to put it back on the debt and do the right thing. And then I was like, so once I put that into the universe, it was like the rest just came so fast. It's only January.
And you're like, why didn't I do this shit a year ago? Yeah. I could have been out and been done.
Yeah. So
I'm super proud of you for doing that, honestly, because it takes a lot to swallow your pride. Mm-hmm. That swallowing your pride is like one of those big horse pills that they be giving you, them antibiotics that you can't swallow and got to break into 4.
Yep.
So even you probably did break it into little pieces here and there. It took a while to get there.
Yeah.
But you have a following, and there's people listening that wonder, like, how do you have a podcast, or how do you live here, or how do you have a book? Mm-hmm. And they don't realize we're grinding just the same way you do, but we don't take no's.
Yeah.
And, back up. When there's a no and there's a closed door, okay, I'll find another door. Yeah. And there's one to go through. There's so many doors to open.
Yeah. And the thing with the book was a blessing in itself, because one day, I never really expected to write a book, but, this was a topic that was very, common, that I talked about with a lot of people all the time. And then literally what got me to start writing the book and finish writing the book was that I was in a very, very, very stressful relationship with my boyfriend, and I'm freaking texting this man 4-page letters. I'm waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. He didn't come in. I'm texting him from 5, all the way until he fake ass wants to pretend like he just woke up at 8 or or 9.
We know better.
Exactly. And then by the time between 5 and 9 a.m., I done text 40 chapters. And then he wakes up and is like,
good morning.
You tripping, or something like that. So one day I woke up and I said, these are chapters that you're writing.
Right.
You're writing chapters of arguing and cursing him out and pain and all of this stuff to this man via text. And at that moment...
And you're not the only one doing that. And you're not the only one going through it.
Yeah. And at that moment, I started writing my book on my phone in my notes.
Nice.
And that's when I was like... And I started writing the chapters on my phone. And then I would transfer them to Word. And then when I was at work, I used to print them out using the company paper and print and ink. And I would, like, on lunch, like, read them and, like, mark them up with, you know, like, red pen and stuff. Right. And then go back in and, it, like, but literally, it was that started me writing the book.
So it doesn't take a huge publishing company or anything like that.
Oh, no, I'm self-published.
Right. If you have an idea, just do it.
And my checks are about $3,000 a month.
Just off the book.
And yeah, from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, my checks are still $3,000 because I'm still talking about it. I'm still promoting it,
right.
You know, and I'm about to re-release it.
And it's you reusing old content. I know. I love Gary Vee, and he's saying you can take old content and revamp it. You don't have to create new content all the time. He said just put content out there and take stuff that you're doing and you're just fluffing it up, adding some more and make it more current. I think he did that with his book Crush It. He had one and then he did another Crush It and he just revamped it up.
Yeah.
So you can do it. So you're out here basically telling people, I've did this. I've been high. I am low. I'm coming back high. Just watch me do it and don't be afraid to do it yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely, because people are very one thing, I never have the answers, and I don't let that scare me. I really do figure it out when I cross that bridge.
Right.
You know, people are like, and writing a book is just an example, but I didn't know how to write a book. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. There was plenty of things that I did ass backwards.
Right.
I think I got the cover done before I did the interior pages, and I think it's supposed to be the other way around. And they were like, "Oh, how many pages is your book?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I was like, "How am I supposed to know that?" And they were like, "You're supposed to get the interior pages done first." And I was like, "Oh, really?"
Like in the movies when they have the manuscript.
Yeah, because they want to know how thick the spine should be. They're like, how many pages and what's the width and the length and all of that stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. And, you know, okay, I made a mistake. You go and you figure it out.
You change it. There's nothing. Oh, I always ask myself, what's the worst that can happen?
Everything.
So if I quit my job, what's the worst? And if it's not death, I'm good.
Yeah.
There's something to do. If it's not that I'm going to be under a bridge with my daughter, then I'm good. Like, it's perfectly fine. What's the worst that can happen? And someone's going to talk about you?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Like that you don't even care about.
Right. Anyways, let's go on ahead and over to unsolicited advice. But I'm so glad that you're open about this because I know that there's someone out there.
Oh,
and you've seen them. I'm sure you're getting
my
flooded.
DMs and my comments are on fire about people saying like, oh my God, that's everything that I needed to just let it all go and say fuck it and just start over.
And they're just things. Yeah. They're really just things. And you realize that, especially when you're saying you lost your grandma, I lost my father. He was the closest thing to me. And nothing matters. Yeah, when she died, what did she take with her? Yeah. Not a damn thing. Right. Nothing goes, and you can't get that back, and you can't get that time back. So you're like, if I'm worried about just a couple dollars or some shoes, that's not going to do anything for you.
Look what happened with these fires and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, like
you lose everything.
Exactly.
Everything.
So what's the big deal?
Right. So let's go into unsolicited advice. And this one, it's a lengthy one, but I figured you could probably give a good advice on it because I don't know how high up there your men are that got money or if they're just like unknowns, but she says, I am 10 weeks pregnant and I had no idea I was.
That's always just killer.
Right. I'm like, don't they have plan B?
The pregnancy.
I just discovered I'm pregnant in 10 weeks. For the last 2 years, I've been sleeping with an A-list Hollywood actor on and off. He's very famous and I'm also in the industry, but not as famous as him. I'm thinking she's probably just an Instagram model. He is also very married. I didn't care because I saw him as a sponsor. He took care of my living expenses, car in exchange for my company. It was an arrangement which worked. I didn't love him in a genuine way, but he was a good sponsor / sugar daddy to me, and he treated me well. Before this, I was convinced I was infertile. I have PCOS, fibroids, and have not ovulated in a regular cycle all my life. I have been told by doctors since I was 12 that I would not be able to have children. About 2 months ago, months ago, random things started happening in my body, but because I've never had a regular period or a regular cycle, it didn't click to me. So I went for my routine twice yearly STD check, and the lady called me with the results and mentioned that I was pregnant. I didn't understand. She told me to go see a doctor, and the doctor confirmed 10 weeks. I cannot believe I'm pregnant for one, and two, I cannot believe it's from a married Hollywood actor. I'm consumed with so much sadness in this moment in time. If by chance I would fall pregnant, it would not be by this man in this situation. I am 28. I told my mother that I was pregnant, and she said, under no circumstance can I abort this. It is a miracle. She even offered to take care of it herself, but said that I must not abort it and I may never fall pregnant again after this. My mother and father are in their 50s and married. They are begging me to give the baby to them to care for and saying I can't abort it. I'm so conflicted. I'm scared. Again, I'm 28, which means I'm not too young for children, but the situation is too bad. And I'm scared for the potential press coverage once the news leaks out. I believe my options are keep it, cut him off, never tell him, and raise it alone, or keep it and tell him, but put him in child support and raise it alone. She don't know what the fuck to do.
Oh, Lord.
Wow. I say do what you want. So growing up, I was like, abortion is just wrong. I was supposed to abort my daughter. And I got scared and I didn't. And I thank God that I didn't. Although sometimes I'm telling you, better be grateful I didn't do this to you. Sometimes she'll be like, well, at least you didn't abort me. I was like, you damn right. So go clean your room.
Right.
You're breathing.
Right.
But that's a personal choice. You shouldn't allow your parents to tell you whether you keep your kid or not. Like if you give the baby to them, you're still gonna be seeing this child all the time. It's a sticky situation. I'm like, and who cares whether he's a Hollywood actor or not? You put yourself in that situation. So I didn't know. I was like, what would Cutty do?
I hate the baby situations. The baby situations are the hardest because it's almost like I can't give you advice on whether to keep or not keep a kid.
Right.
It's not anybody's place. It's not my place. It's not your place. It's not your parents' place. Like you said, it's nobody's place to really say whether you should or should not keep it. And it's like, you're already pregnant. So if I don't think that you should keep it, I'm telling you to get an abortion, which is like, that's fucked up. You know, I don't agree with anybody I believe in abortion, but I just don't believe in telling anybody.
If it's your choice and that's what you think is best for you.
I don't believe in telling anybody, to get an abortion. What I do for a lot of people, because I have I have this service called Cutty Calls where people call me for advice. So like this is a very common, and maybe not a Hollywood actor, you know what I mean?
Right.
But this is a very common thing where they're constantly asking me like, oh, should I get an abortion or should I keep it or whatever the case may be? I'm pregnant. I tell them all the time, the only thing that I can do for you is to put the cards on the table for you and tell you so that you can see what the outcome is.
Like pros and cons.
The number one factor in this situation above everything is the child, right? And there's so many kind of hazy outcomes that could happen with this child situation. So one is you don't tell him. Now, this child has no father. Already fucking...
You fucked up the kid's life.
Right.
Like the whole
exactly.
Like
before
life.
It even started.
Right.
You just set him back 10 times, So they don't have no father. Then, God forbid, they find out who the goddamn father is. And it's like, this whole entire time...
My dad could have been like Denzel Washington.
Right. We are... I don't want to say that they're struggling, but like... he's over there living this grand old life, and I'm over here as a friggin' secret. You know what I mean? Especially when somebody's in the...
And they never sent you as a mother. Because it's like, what, you were ashamed of me? Like, what is... You don't want nobody to know about me? Am I so wrong?
Or the actor could totally shun the kid off, because he's married. It's not just about him being an A-list actor. It's about him being married, Didn't Ludacris
take his baby?
Yeah.
Or he can you decide to keep it and then he go, oh, you know what?
Right.
Give me the kid. And now you like ask that with no baby.
Right. Ugh. But that's pretty uncommon though, I would say. And then you have, keep the baby and go on child support. Still don't have no father. So we're still in the same situation. The money means nothing.
At all.
And then there's give the baby to your parents so now the kid doesn't realize that their parents didn't have them until they're much older and realize that 50-something-year-olds probably didn't have me. So now these are not my real parents.
Right.
At all. I mean, if that's the route that they're going to go, which is, I don't know if they're going to say, like this is...
being raised by your grandparents or were your parents.
Yeah. But it's all bad either way.
It is.
It seems like every... And people were like... She can take care of her own child. Of course she can. Nobody dies from that.
Right.
You know?
It becomes harder, but you don't die. I was 18 when I had mine.
It's the kid growing up. Like, when I started going to therapy, which was the greatest decision of my whole entire life, like, I really believed in my whole entire life. Like, I don't have a relationship with my father. And I believed this whole entire time that I didn't have any problems with not having a father.
Right.
Like, I genuinely was like... I don't care. You know, like, I didn't care. Like, it didn't hurt my feelings. I didn't think about it.
You're masking it with something else.
Exactly. I didn't know that it even affected me because I wasn't in pain. I didn't think about it. I wasn't yearning him or wanting him or anything like that. So, and it wasn't until I went to therapy that it was like, okay, you may not be feeling the pain, but you're behaving the pain. You know, like the things that you're doing, the behavior that's going on stems from you wanting the intimacy, the attention, the love, the, you know.
Just the dad.
Yeah.
That daddy.
So now I'm like, oh, like the type of guys that I've been with, the type of situations I was in, the type of, you know, how I handled them, how I let them handle me, you know, all of these things. And I'm like, oh, damn. And then, you know, I always felt like my grandmother was like the best person in the whole wide world that I could have ever had in my whole entire life.
It's a blessing.
I'm like, so I'm like, oh, I didn't care that, you know, my parents were trash. My grandmother was the most important, you know, she was the greatest. And then it wasn't until I got to therapy that we like started unpacking, and it was like, your grandmother could be the greatest grandmother she could possibly be in the whole world.
But she's still grandma.
Yeah. She's never going to be mom. She's never going to be dad.
Right.
So you're still going to feel that void. And yeah, she goes in the Hall of Fame for grandmas. But you still feel like you got a trash ass mom, and you still feel like you got a trash ass dad. And that is a burden that you're carrying around with you for your whole entire, like, every day. Your whole being like revolves around you being neglected or not even, you know.
And it's not like abuse. Like, that neglect is so real. Yeah. You feel it and we act on it. So I think she definitely needs to think about the kid. For sure. And then if you want to abort the baby, listen, girl, that's your choice. Right. That is definitely your choice. Well, I have my last segment, which is going to be quick. And it's my shit talk. I was so mad. I came this morning, and my boyfriend has an issue whenever I go out of town, and he always starts some type of damn fight. And I just be like, you know what?
Oh my God.
Did yours do that?
Yes.
Bro. Now I'm like, this is the fucking pattern, and we don't want to therapy for this shit.
Oh my God.
So, and I wasn't doing nothing. I won't even talk about what the argument was because I don't know if he's gonna listen. But it was so stupid and he was so rude, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm leaving in a couple of hours. Everything was cool. Yeah. And now you're starting a fight for what?
They just throw this little tantrum.
It's a tantrum like a little baby.
Right.
And I'm like, you gotta relax with this shit because I can't deal with this. I don't like no stress.
Yeah.
I decided that I'm gonna live a stress-free life. I don't cut my mama off. I don't cut my sister. Right. I cut everybody off because they were toxic. Right. I'm gonna cut you off too if you're being toxic. Like, don't do this to me. I cannot do it because it's hurting me more than it's helping me.
Yeah.
So I couldn't sleep last night, and I had to be up at 3:30 to wash my hair. I'm just tired. I get to the airport, and I'm flying Delta. And it's happened to me before. I saw on my plane ticket that it said 18B. That's a middle seat. So I get there, and I'm pretty early. I got clear. I get there, and I'm like, you know what? Is this flight full? I'm like, she's like, yes. I'm like, there's no standby? She's like, yes, I'm standby. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I have a middle seat. Can you please give me a different seat? She said, okay, I'll write your name down if anything. And she wasn't even looking at me, and I'm like, all right, cool. Of course she doesn't do it. And I hear her calling all these standbys later. I get in there. So when I get to my seat, I tell the lady, listen, do you mind if I get the window? I'm going to sleep. I'm not moving. I'm going to knock out. She's like, oh, yeah. No. I just went to the window. I said, okay, I'm going to sleep. Like, knocking out. So if you need to go to the bathroom, do it now. We're not going to Dubai or anything like that. It's 2.5 hours. Go pee. Go do what you got to do. What happens mid-flight when I'm slobbering all over myself sleeping? This motherfucking lady starts tapping into my back. And I feel her, but I'm not moving. So here comes tap number 2. I'm on my arm again. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, all right, cool. You can tap my arm all you want. I told you I was going to sleep, bitch. I told you.
Right.
And now you play. And then the lady to my right is this big heavy set lady, and she doesn't understand. You know when you have like the seat, lean to the right so I can lean somewhere. I can't lean nowhere. Literally, I have my arms crossed. I was so uncomfortable. I'm like, this is why I need to be rich so I can get first class. So I don't want to move. So it was the 5th time she like tugged on my shirt, and I'm like, oh, this bitch really gotta go. So I look up with attitude. I'm wearing my glasses still, and I look up and I'm like, yes. And she's like, I need to go to the restroom. I said, oh, the restroom that you said you didn't have to use because I told you I was going to sleep. I have an attitude now. Like, I didn't sleep. My nigga pissed me off. Like, I told you this already. So she's looking at me like, I said, you know what? So the lady now, this one got to get up. Shit's falling over. I was so upset. I was so mad. So I accidentally on purpose spilled my water in her seat. I had to. Just a little bit. You're going to sit here with a wet seat. I was so mad. So mad. I'm like, if I can't take it out of my boyfriend, I can't act a damn fool because it's like a federal regulation. I spilled a little water on her seat. When she came back, she sat down. But you think after the attitude I gave her, she was going to say something? I was like, no. She just sat there and I went right back to sleep. But so I just want people, if you ever know that you're going to need to use the bathroom or you're not going to sleep and somebody tells you, fucking listen.
Right.
I'm tired. You didn't pay for the seat on the window. Like, I know you didn't. So and then the one that was sitting next to me wasn't even her fucking seat. She should have been on somewhere else. I would have had it myself. But anyways, that was what happened to me today, and I was hella mad, and I am exhausted still. So I'm gonna sleep so good tonight. So good.
So crazy.
I need to find me. I'm gonna read the book because I know I have it and Dexty has it, and I think I'm gonna wait because I haven't read it yet. I haven't read it. I'm gonna wait till you put out the other one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna figure out how to find me somebody. My boyfriend really pisses me off. He got one more time to do this to me, and I'm gonna go find me a sugar daddy and say fuck love, just fuck it, so and I'm gonna fly first class.
That is so.
Anyways, Cutty, how can my listeners find you?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter at passport_Cutty Cutty.
Yes, and then the new book comes out when?
Probably in about a month, so like maybe late February.
That's how I'm thinking about my ebook. I'm having my podcast ebook come out. Yeah. I'm like, I think by the end of February it should be done.
I have some preliminary things that I have to do, and like editing and all of this stuff, but it should be out like as soon as.
And it goes out where on your website?
Yeah. Well, it's on Instagram and on Twitter. It's on Amazon, so it's just search Passport Cutty, and right now the current book is up there. The M Man is for money.
Yay! Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you. That is it. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.